Whoa,
Okay.
okay.
Alright.
Well,
Key, start. Okay.
okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and start in 3, 2, 1. She's my auntie and I'm her nephew. She moved to different countries and became a nurse. Please all welcome the one and only Tita Pie. Tita Pie!
Hello. It's me, back again. This is my first video with WavyTalks, but I've been featured in a couple of
Yes.
the Wamba Guzman page.
Yes.
So check that one out.
Yeah. Our first video on the channel was in my vlogging channel where we tasted some Australian snacks. And the video blew up because all of my families shared it and they all loved it. So obviously this one is gonna blow up and I
hope so.
But we're in a different setup right now. We have 3 cameras. We have this one, and this one.
Yes.
And it's pretty hectic and messy in the background. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy because definitely we'll be doing more Wavy Talks in the future of this kind of setup. But yeah, that's all. Alright, so Tita Pie, if you guys haven't heard, she is a nurse. You became a nurse in
this year, start of this year.
this year. You graduated
last year.
And then you became a nurse.
Yes.
So how many months did you graduate? Like before you became a nurse? Like 5 months? No.
What do you mean?
Like before you became a nurse,
yeah.
after you graduated, how long did you have to wait until you became a nurse talaga?
So my last, well, in Australia we call it placement, but I think here in the Philippines it's called OJT. It's like work experience as a student. I finished in September, like mid-September, and then I graduated in December, and then I didn't start working till Feb.
Ah, okay,
yeah.
I see.
So you do the math, because I'm not very good.
I'm not good at math as well. Pero you did move into different countries, like 3 countries when you were little then. Hindi mo na-experience it when you were an adult, right? You experienced it when teenager ka pa.
Yeah, so I was born here in the Philippines, but then we moved to Japan when I was about 3 years old, and then we moved to Australia when I was 11.
Ah,
and
okay.
then I've been in Australia since
Right there, yeah. But since your life has been very busy, I know that you've been going, back and forth to the Philippines because again, we have the new baby, then you became a nurse, and then all of this happened. I want to ask, how has life been recently for you?
It's been very busy, as you said, like bouncing back to work and then home life and then trying to balance my social life as well. It's quite hectic, but it's worth it because I love what I do, and it's honestly, it's really good. It's the best.
Yeah, because after you go home from work, you go shopping.
No, I don't go shopping, but like the hospital that I work at across the road is like the shopping center.
Yeah.
And I always, when I have a bad shift, I always go to cha time and I treat myself to some cha time.
Me every day after school when I have a bad day at school.
Exactly.
I go and get something that will cheer me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So since again you've told to the camera that you've been in the Philippines, you were born and then you moved to Japan and then you went to Australia. What's your life like migrating from Philippines to Japan to Australia?
Heat up.
Yeah, I could tell.
It was very difficult. When I moved to Japan, it was a completely different world. So I didn't speak a word of Japanese, didn't read Japanese, and I certainly didn't eat or drink Japanese food or drinks.
Ah, okay.
So when I would go to preschool, I would cry all the time because I didn't like the tea, I didn't like their food, and I was just really upset every day until eventually I got used to it.
So you didn't cry anymore?
I didn't cry anymore. I stopped eventually, especially when I started learning how to speak Japanese, and then I went to primary school to like learn how to read, write, and make friends and stuff. And then I settled.
But were you fluent in Japanese?
Yes, still am.
Okay.
Read and write and speak.
I see. How long were you in Japan?
8 years.
8 years, so you've been
Yeah.
there for a long time. If you can still remember, what was your life like in the Philippines before when you moved to Japan?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I like moved when I was little. I moved when I was 3 years old.
Okay, so
I
you
didn't
don't
have
remember
that.
anything.
Yeah.
So you just remembered your Japan life.
Yeah.
I see. And then you moved to Australia when you were 11 years old.
Yes.
So that was like 3 years span of it was like 3 years span. So when you were moving, since basically you're 11 years old, you kind of understood everything now. What were you like feeling, or like what were you going through when you were moving to Australia?
Again, very difficult. It was very challenging because I didn't really know how to speak English.
Okay.
I knew sort of, but I didn't really read and write, didn't really comprehend well. It was very challenging because it was a completely different country, different lifestyle. Like food wasn't really an issue, but I learned English a lot quicker than I learned Japanese.
Oh yeah, because Japanese is difficult.
Yeah, way different.
But English
way
is
different.
very easy.
Yeah.
But what was your life like when you were still young in Australia, before you went to an adulthood? When you were a teenager, what was your life like? Did you had any friends at school or things like that?
Yeah, I certainly had friends at school, but I guess it was a bit harder for me to make friends because I guess like they thought I was a bit different.
Okay.
Because the lifestyle in Japan is very different to lifestyle in Australia.
Yeah.
So I think I was very like strict and disciplined, and
okay.
whereas Australia is very like free and chill and like very relaxed and slow. So I guess it was very weird because I was trying to adapt into like a whole new lifestyle as well as like a new lingo, new language.
Okay.
And then I was trying to like match and mesh with the people, and I think that's why it was really hard. But I'm very grateful like for all of my friends that I had back then and all of the friends that I have now. I love them all.
Yeah, especially your co-workers, since you're a nurse now, that you meet all of them. Yeah. So since you've moved from 3 countries, what country did you prefer living and why?
I'd say Australia.
Oh, okay.
Because in Australia, everyone's very friendly.
True.
Everyone just chats to everyone.
True.
It's very easy to get along with people and very welcoming.
Yeah.
Whereas Japan, life is very busy. People can be a little bit more reserved when it comes to foreigners. I'm not sure now, because I know that tourism's, grown in Japan, especially after COVID.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's very hard still to like communicate to Japanese people, especially like the elderly.
Yeah.
Whereas in Australia, it's very like, "G'day, mate. How are you?" Like even if it's just a stranger walking down the street. You know?
I get you.
So and life in Australia is very relaxed, and it's not as stressful and busy and crazy as Japan.
I agree for Australian internet friends, because they're very welcoming, and going to Australia, like I wanted to move there immediately when I went there, but hey, in the future you never know, you might move in there.
But like with Philippines, it's kind of hard to tell whether like I actually like it here or not. Like to live here. I think it's just because I've never actually lived here longer than like 3 years. And every time I'm here, it's just to like visit Wham and visit my sister and like, my nephew, my baby nephew. So I think I personally don't think that I'd survive here.
Yeah. True.
I think life here is also very busy and also very it's very tough, I think. I don't know.
You wouldn't. Inflation. Inflation and gas prices. So no. Go back to Australia. Let's all go.
I'd happily stay in Australia.
Yeah, let's all go stay in Australia. since you've went to school in Japan and then you went to school in Australia, you went to Japan school for 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Australia until you graduated. But how is education different from Japan and Australia?
Oh, very different.
Mm-mm.
So in Japan, we were very disciplined. They were very strict.
Oh, okay.
We had homework every day. They would not like punish you, but the teachers would like make you stay back after school if you don't do your homework from the day before.
What? Okay.
Yeah. It's not. They don't really. They're not very big on like asking for permission from parents. It's very much like, oh, your daughter didn't do her homework, so she's staying home. She's staying at school. And you have to stay there until you finish it and until you get 100%. And we would have school on Saturdays, not like full days, just half days. And again, like we would still get homework from that. And again, if you don't finish it, you'd have to stay back the Monday after. Whereas in Australia, very chill, relaxed. Yes, teachers do care, like if you don't do your homework, and they will contact your parents if you don't, but it's not to the point where like they'll make you stay back after school, because that's not really a thing in Australia unless they get your parents' permission.
Yeah.
And that's kind of hard to do in Australia.
So Japan's very strict.
Yeah, very strict.
But did you experience that back outing in Japan, or no?
Like staying back at school. Yeah, always.
Oh.
Not because I didn't do my homework, but because I'm not like a native Japanese speaker. There's times when like I still didn't really fully comprehend what they were saying to me. So because of that, sometimes I wouldn't get 100%, or like maybe I'd get like 90% or 80%. And they weren't happy with that result, so then they'd make you stay back until you got 100%.
Man.
Yeah.
But what was mommy and daddy's reaction?
Well, I guess they just like got used to it, because that's how life is in Japan.
I see.
And like we didn't really know any better, I guess, because they could only compare it to like my sister's education like here in the Philippines. So I'm not sure if like they did that here back then. Like I would still like message my parents. I like, I'm staying back at school or whatever, to like explain like, oh, I didn't get 100%.
Man, that's very strict.
Yeah. Whereas in Australia, like you get above 50, they let you go. As long as it's above 50%, that's a pass. They don't care.
Yeah, that's very strict, and I don't want to experience that. But here in the Philippines, if you get a low grade, they will just announce it when it's release of cards. If you get a low grade on an exam, on a score, they just grade it.
Yeah.
And they don't contact their parents or things like that, based on my experience.
Yeah.
But I think it's different from other school. But for my experience in BCI and in my senior high school, it's very, it's like that. Like they don't contact your parents. But they do notify. They do email you that you don't do any homework, like the pass, and they will talk to you that you haven't done any homework, and possibly your parents as well. And that's how it is. But I did interview one Japanese person. His name was Hiro. I posted it already. He told me that his education is very different as well in the Philippines. He's also a little bit fluent in Japanese, if I can remember what he said.
Is he half Japanese, half Filipino?
Yeah. But it's kind of like yours, but obviously he still lives in here. He's also a very private person, so we didn't really give out any information too much. But what he just studied in Japan is geography, literature, math, and obviously Japanese. That's what I can remember. But I did forget that she went to Japan because nasanay kami na I got used to her in Australia, so I keep forgetting that.
You were very young when we were in Japan,
like
and then
so small.
Yeah, he was a little miniature version.
Yeah, I don't remember anything much. I only remember the roller coaster that we went on Disneyland. That's all I remember, and like that Michael Jackson like concert thing. I don't know what it's called. It's like a hologram and things like that. That's all I can remember. But yeah, education is very different. I mean, if you go to other countries, it's very different talaga from other subjects as well. But yeah, just study in Australia. Note to self. So you graduated this year as a nurse, and you not long, right? That you became a nurse. You're still learning, or no?
No, I finished.
So you're
I graduated last year.
okay. So you know how everything works as a nurse,
Not like everything.
but you're still learning on like what's happening during your work progress.
Always.
Okay.
It's you never stop learning in nursing.
Because I did remember that in your post that you said that you wanted to become a nurse when you were like in kindergarten.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
So what's your life like being a nurse?
It's a roller coaster of craziness.
I could tell.
I feel like every time I come out of the shift, I age like 10 years or something. It's just the amount of stories that I can tell you from work.
There's thousands.
Yeah, there's like heaps of things that happen at work that I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, there's thousands.
Especially as like a young junior nurse, it's very hard because you're trying to like adapt and learn at the same time. You're trying to be a fast learner.
Yeah.
You're trying to like prove yourself to everyone and to like all of the team, like the team members that you're working with, that you're actually good enough and you're smart enough and that you deserve a spot within their team. And it's very, yes, it's rewarding, but it takes a lot of like mental toll on you, and you lose a lot of like your time like with family, your social life. Yeah, like on weekends I'm working.
Okay.
Long public holidays I'm working. Yeah, so I definitely, that's the thing that I'm like, it's the least favorite part of my job, is that I lose a lot of time with family and friends, and I don't get to spend a lot of days off. I spend most of my days in the hospital. And I see a lot of, things that a normal 21-year-old wouldn't see or experience.
Yeah, I get you there.
Yeah.
It's really stressful as a nurse, but obviously there's some good moments as your life as a nurse as well, not just all the stressful moments. But because you work also on night shifts.
Yeah, I do.
What do you prefer, day shifts or night shifts?
Definitely. They're both very different. I personally like day shifts. So that's like 7 a.m. till 3 p.m.
Yeah.
It's really busy. It's quick. That's when all the doctors ask you to do everything.
Okay.
And that's when all of your discharges, so your patients going home, like that's when it happens.
Okay.
So it's incredibly busy, so time goes fast.
Yeah.
Night shift though, you're looking after more patients, but they're asleep, so it's boring.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of just sitting there waiting for time to pass.
And you get sleepy as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But did you get used to night shifts?
Yeah, eventually you get used to it. Like your sleep cycle eventually switches, and it's easy.
I get you.
Easy peasy, especially because I'm young, so it's like my body can still like adapt to those changes. But I definitely know that a lot of the senior nurses that I work with who are a bit older, a lot older than me, they struggle with night shifts because they struggle to switch their sleep because they already get like poor sleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I get you there. Yeah, being a nurse is stressful.
Yeah.
What did I just say? Being a nurse is stressful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
We're there. Lexi's come to join us. Can't stop. Okay. So obviously, over the span of how a year we've become a nurse for over a year now, or
like 9 months.
9 months. So over the course of 9 months, what's your best moments as a nurse?
There's heaps. I think when you actually but when you actually get to save someone's life.
Yeah.
That's
true.
actually so cool. Like you actually go home and you tell your friends, you tell your family, like, I actually saved a life today. That's like one of the best parts. But even the little things makes it really rewarding, especially when, let's say, like your patients aren't doing so well, and all of a sudden they take a turn and they're improving, and you see them going home, or the family members, or even the patient themselves, like they're very grateful and they're very thankful for all the work that you do as a nurse. It really makes a difference. So if you guys know anyone that works in the healthcare field, whether they're a nurse, like in pathology or allied health, doctors, all of them, thank them for the work that they do, because unless you're a patient, or unless you're also another healthcare worker, you're never going to understand the amount of work that we actually do
It's hard
to look after you.
It's very hard. The nurses and doctors do a lot, running around, getting everything sorted out, and inserting some things in your body, like all the machines. I understand, so we have to be very grateful because they're trying their best. Even the COVID things that did happen. But since you did experience some worse moments as a nurse, and let me guess that that's the opposite of saving a life.
Yes, definitely. During my time, like my 9 months, I've had maybe three patients pass away with me. Maybe 4. And that's definitely very hard. But at work, like when you're working, the hardest part is it's not even like them actually passing away. It's the fact that like you have to keep composure and you can't cry, or you can't really like show much, like emotion afterwards, because you have to contact the family and you have to talk to the family, and sometimes there's like family meetings that you need to do afterwards. And I think that's the hardest part, is like holding it all in, sucking it in, and then after work it all comes out. And I think that's what's so hard about it, as well as like you've been trying to save this person for a long time and you didn't succeed. That's also very hard.
And sometimes you get closer with your patients as well.
Definitely.
So that's the hardest one
Definitely, especially if the patient's been a long stay in the ward. It's quite difficult. But you eventually learn how to distance yourself a little bit, even if it's just, like just the thin barrier. Like between you and the patient and the family members, just to protect yourself. From.
But have you cried when you lost the patient?
Of course.
But you just didn't show it.
Not at work. I don't show it. I don't really show it at work. But I definitely after work, like as soon as I leave the ward or as soon as I leave the hospital doors, I cry. I don't stop crying.
Because again, you get really closer with them.
You get closer.
But I get your feeling why that's your worst experience as a nurse, because again, you've been in that patient for like the longest time as well. I guess if it's for a short time, you obviously get sad. But if you're with them for like the longest time, that's when you get sad. It's kind of like you met a new friend, and then that friend that you're not really close with, it's just a friend. They just unexpectedly die, and it's really sad. And I get your feeling right there. So obviously you're going to be a nurse when you grow old. What do you think your future is going to be when as a nurse?
Nursing is like there's a lot of places that you can go to after your nursing degree. And after you've had experiences in like a few different areas, you have the freedom to pretty much go anywhere. So you can do like cosmetic nursing, so like people injecting. You can do like you can be like a paramedic, so like the emergency people like in the ambulance. You can do that. But personally for me, I've always wanted to do intensive care for kids. So pediatric ICU is where I've always wanted to go to. And at the moment, I'm like trying my best to like work towards that. I just cannot wait to see what the future holds for me in my career, because I absolutely love my job. Yes, it's hard, but it's so worth it. And I just want to keep exploring my options. Because it doesn't just end at like ward nursing. You can specialize and, get more skills, and it's never ending, and it's really good.
I didn't know there were other options that you could be like that like cosmetics.
Definitely.
I didn't know that. But to be honest, working towards that route of going through different options as a nurse, obviously you're going to get it if you actually dream of getting that role or option. And positivity, you get it really. And to be honest, like hard days like that, like at work or school, you get really proud after that day ends, because you've dealt with the struggles and the difficultness within your life, because your life is not really like a straightforward. There's like an obstacle course you have to
Yeah.
dodge. That's kind of like lives and days where you experience. So I get your side there. It's not easy. Nothing's totally easy. Everything's very hard, but you get towards it, and then at the end, you're very proud that hey, we actually finished it. That's what I always experience, and you experience it as well. Obviously,
hard work,
as a
always.
nurse, yeah.
No one's ever really lucky, especially at a job like nursing. You're never actually like lucky.
Yeah.
It's you get far because of your hard work. You get far because of the skills that you learn so hard to learn, and the responsibility that you take on within yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's so important to know those skills. It's important to have that responsibility to be able to save a life.
True.
Because if you slack off at school, if you don't work hard enough, your patients are in danger.
Yeah, your patients are in danger.
Yeah, so you have to prove to yourself that you're actually capable enough to save a life.
Yeah.
Because that's your job.
Yeah. And I've also told this in my interviews, like a lot, like I don't know how many, but I think I told this to my friends as well. But your life is kind of like a graph. I remember that Lolo told me about this, but your life is kind of like a graph where it goes up, but it always goes down as well. You don't always get to go up every day in your life, but you always go down, because again, nobody's perfect in this life.
Exactly.
Because there's always a downfall in your life, and there's always an upward in your life. So you're kind of like a graph going up and down, or like a hill in a car. So I agree with that one as well, because again, I do see myself getting so many downfalls in my life, being so sad, and then few months or few days you get to see yourself up again, and you know, it goes up and down again for the whole entire life. Nobody's perfect, but
that's good. That's a good mindset to have. Especially like as a young adult. It's always, especially now, because I feel like as a young adult, like life is actually hard. Like it's challenging, because there's so many new changes that's happening in your life, like right now. Especially like when you go to uni or like college. Like the changes in like mentally, your career, your studies, and like socially, it's gonna change, and it's definitely hard, but you definitely need to have that positive mindset to keep going, and to have that goal always in front of you to try and achieve. Because I feel like if you're just like cruising through life, without an actual goal that you want to achieve, you're not actually gonna like really get anywhere.
True.
I'm sorry.
No, but it is life. It is life.
Honestly, so I think that like have a positive mindset and have a goal, and really just strive towards that. And as long as you're driven and dedicated to achieve that goal, you'll achieve so much, and you'll actually succeed.
Yes.
I'm telling you that right now.
Yes.
But yeah, as Wham was saying, but in my pretty words, I always say this to my best friend, it's not always going to be sunshines and rainbows, but whatever you're going through, it's fine. Just have a positive mindset, and it'll get there. You'll get there, and you'll be a-okay.
True, right
I
there.
really believe that.
Yes.
It'll be fine.
Because sometimes your life is always filled with storms and rains. It's always not
Facts.
sunshines and rainbows.
Yeah,
I get what
facts.
I get what your friend said right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So since there's a lot of people that are going to be graduating college, and a lot of people learning how to be a nurse, what advice would you give to someone that is starting off being a nurse, as a person who is working for 9 months?
First of all, good luck. Good luck. I hope you survive, and I hope you make it.
Yes,
because we need more of you. Whether that's here in the Philippines or back at home in Australia,
or other
countries.
countries.
In Japan, but everywhere in the world, we need nurses. So please do it. Do it. But in saying that, I know some nurses. I've definitely worked with some. You know, they do nursing for the money. This is like controversial. This is like exclusive content. But this is so controversial. Like, I know some of the nurses that I work with, they kind of just like do it for the money. Even if they don't say it out loud, like, I just do it for the money. But definitely it is good money. It's good pay, especially in Australia. It's actually all right. But if you don't have the heart to be a nurse, please don't be a nurse.
Yes.
Because your patients will be neglected and they'll be looked after poorly, and that makes me very upset.
Yes.
So please don't do that.
Mm-mm.
2, you'll be fine. Just breathe, relax. Again, hard work. It's not going to be sunshines and rainbows. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be tough. It's hard to survive nursing school, but you'll be fine. You'll learn things that are like way beyond what you thought nursing school was going to be, you know? Like some of the knowledge that we learn is up to standard with like doctors' knowledge.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, if the doctors aren't paying attention, they can make mistakes. Guess who's going to be correcting those mistakes? It's not going to be other doctors. It's going to be you.
True.
As the nurse. Because you're the one that's looking through the paperwork, looking through the computer, looking through like what they've signed, what they've ordered for, what they've asked for. And if it's wrong, and something could go wrong in your patient. So that's
You're the big blame.
Exactly. It's your responsibility, right? So definitely take it very seriously because being responsible for people's lives is a very big deal.
Responsibility. It's a big responsibility.
So if you, yes, people make mistakes, but you have to be very careful. And in saying that, you have to pay attention in class and make sure that you actually know what you're doing before you start working.
True.
And every time that you feel like you don't know something, or if you feel that it's unsafe, or you just feel uncomfortable to do something, tell someone, ask someone for help, and confirm with the doctors or confirm with your senior nurses or your educating nurses. Always ask for help, because the last thing that you want to do is do something, make a mistake, and it fall on you. Yeah. So always ask for help when you don't know something, and definitely take it seriously, but also have fun. Have a lot of fun. Take, jokes out of it, and make fun of, not make fun of, but like have jokes around patients. See the light. Yeah. Like, just because your patient's super sick, it doesn't mean that you're going to be like depressive and you're like, oh, you poor thing. No, you definitely have to be very bubbly and light about it. And you have to see the good things, the little improvements and the little light at the end of the tunnel. That's what you need to see.
Yes. You need to see the finish line. Of that part.
Exactly. Yes.
And don't be afraid to ask for any help and say no. Just if you can't do it, say no. Don't force yourself.
Exactly.
And that's very nice. Any advice that you gave to someone who's starting off as a nurse? It's a big responsibility, very hard work, heavy load, but you'll get it into the end eventually.
And it's rewarding. And it's so worth it.
Yes.
If you actually love your job.
Yes, you're there.
Yeah.
So, since this is the last question for you, we've been interviewing for over 34 minutes. It's a podcast for an hour. Joke. Okay. So, since you've suggested this question for me, and I actually love it, so I included it in our question list. Any advice would you give to any people in general? That would be teenagers, adults, or like any people in general. What kind of advice would you want to give to them?
Have fun, enjoy life. Life is short.
True.
Life is so short. Like, you could be, I don't know, cruising around with your friends, and then it could just change.
Yeah.
So life is short, so cherish all of your, good memories. Cherish your loved ones. Tell them you love them. Hug and kiss them all.
True.
And work hard and always have a goal and be dedicated to achieve that goal. I think that's like, in a nutshell, that's the best advice that I could give anyone that's like a bit younger than me or around my age, is to, definitely cherish your loved ones. Yeah. Have fun. Life is short. Have a goal and be dedicated.
Yes, that's very good advice. And it's, advice in any life that you should be following. Any advice in life, if you know what I mean. Like, any advice people should follow in general, like all of the people. And yeah, that's very nice, because again, life is too short. I relate to that as well, because back then I said life's not short. Like, what are you talking about? But look where I am right now. I'm literally grade 11 doing YouTube. I think I said that when I was in grade 7, and then here I am.
Yeah.
And I said life's not short. Yeah, it is very, because time goes fast.
Time goes fast, yeah.
Fast. And looking back, like wait, I just started school for like 5 months, or like I went to Australia for like 6 months, things like that. It's really crazy to look back at it. But to be honest with you, getting to know your backstory, why you moved for 3 separate countries, how you became a nurse, and what your life is like being a nurse. I'm very happy that we got to do our interview.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's very crazy because you came over to the Philippines just to do this interview and not do it online. But yeah, thanks, Tita Pie. I appreciate it. But yeah, this is my first interview of a family member, actually.
Woo!
Yes, I normally interview streamers, VTubers, my classmates, and friends. But this one, you're the first one that I interviewed as a family member. And possibly there will be more coming soon to talk about their lives. I want to interview them. But yeah, that's all. Alright, guys. I appreciate you guys watching our interview. This was my first interview in my room with 3 cameras and a good setup recently. And yeah, that's all really. There'll be more interviews coming soon. There's a lot actually planned since this will be posted around like December. Almost like at the end of the year. But yeah, that's all. Alright, guys. Thank you all for watching. Thank you again, Tita Pie.
Of course,
and I'll see you all later.
Okay,
Bye.
Before he goes, make sure you subscribe to WavyTalks. Make sure you subscribe to Wham the Guzman. There's another channel.
Wavy Wham.
Wavy Wham as well. The gaming and
the live streaming account.
And the live streaming account.
I have a lot.
And the streaming account and his Spotify playlist. I don't know.
All my social medias.
Literally everything that has his name on it, subscribe to it.
Yes.
You have no idea. I say this every time I'm on a video, but the people behind, like the people watching, you actually have no idea
how hard work
he works for all of these videos, all of these streams, all of these like whatever he's doing, all of it. The amount of work that he puts into it is so cool to see. So please make it worth it, make it worthwhile, and please subscribe to, you know, get him some
subscribers
bills.
in the future.
Because we cannot be working hard for free.
Yes.
So please, dollar bills.
Yes, but I do it for fun.
Oh, well, his way. Please.
Yes. Yeah, the girl's begging, so do it, you guys. Alright, guys, I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.